Let me say a little something about Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King. Every time I go to Atlanta, I go to visit the Martin Luther King Memorial there. It's a beautiful park they have there. And this last summer, I was there and visited and actually went to the Ebenezer Baptist Church, where he was a pastor for a while, and also visited where he was born. And at the Ebenezer Baptist Church, they do little presentation and talk about the history of the church and Dr. King's um, participation there. And one of the things I found really interesting was that, for his revolution to happen, for this whole civil rights movement to happen, the church was integral in that. And for that community, and I would say also for a lot of white communities, the church has historically been a place where we can come together. And since a lot of us in those communities just kind of accept whatever religiosity we need to in order to be a part of those communities, that just, you know, becomes part of it. But the deeper connections we have, the deeper relationships that are formed there, and the ability to cohesively interact and create these changes and these movements in the world around us, it's important. And I recognize that now that a lot of the institutions like the church and the government are falling apart. And a lot of the things that we've believed about them are proving to be false, and we're finding new ways to strategize and coordinate. But I don't want to dismiss the importance of the church. And I spent, since June, I've been working on this book called Jesus Said Stuff, revisiting the red letters of Jesus Christ, which were very important to Dr. King. And I have a lot of issues with Roman American Christianity as we're practicing it now, especially with this rise of Christian nationalism and a lot of these ways of approaching the world that are just so incredibly un-Christ-like. But because the mythos has grown so much in the last 2,000 years, we've got caught up in a lot of the things that humans have created, doctrines and dogmas and legends and myths and the holy grails and the fear of hell, and all of those things have been created in the last 2,000 years. Before Jesus, there was no belief that every human being had to go to hell. It's something that got kind of created along the way, and Jesus got thrown into. But as I've studied the red letters of Christ, the idea that every Homo sapiens has to go to hell is just it's not there. And it still has created a wonderful opportunity for people to come together and still live out the words of Jesus Christ, which are ultimately love one another. And it's a beautiful thing. Like my brother died this last week, and the church, Sarasota Baptist Church, that he was once a part of and that I was once a part of, has just shown an amazing amount of love and support for my parents, and is providing them meals every day and caring for them. And there's just such a beauty in that when you see a church actually coming together and doing what Christ did. And that is the importance of the church, is creating these communities where people can come together and support each other and love one another. And although I have a lot of issues with a lot of the theological things that are taught there, I so appreciate every member of any church who is seeking a way to know to God better, although it may be through Roman American limitations, but still are seeking for ways to serve other people and create community. And it's an important thing. And I've come to a point, after reading all these letters of Jesus and all he had to say about forgiveness, and I forgive Roman American Christianity for not living up to all that I think it should be. But I also recognize it's largely a man-made religion. And even within that, and all the limitations that are in there, and even though all the ideas that have been brought up throughout it have fallen short, I don't need the Roman Empire to connect with God and the kingdom of heaven. You know, I don't need for the Bible to be perfect or inerrant or infallible to recognize what it is pointing toward. I don't need any religion to be perfect or any person to be perfect in order for me to connect with the creator of all that I've ever experienced, every breath I've ever taken, all these cells that cohesively create this body so that I can experience this life. And I'm grateful for this life. And I don't necessarily require any blood sacrifice or anything like that. And I don't think God does it either. And I think there have been some mismanagement along the way. But essentially, when you get down to it, when you have these churches come together who want to, as Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, body, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself, churches give you a lot of opportunity to do that. And as Dr. King demonstrated, they can produce very powerful changes. And my hope with this book, this Jesus Says stuff, is that we can come together as churches, as a whole church, whatever that means, or many churches, I don't know. But continue to expand on this gospel of love, that we are here to care for one another and take care of one another. And I'm grateful to Sarasota Baptist Church for caring for my parents and being there for my family as they are. And I'm grateful that Dr. King left such an amazing legacy. And I hope we continue to learn from that. That's all I got for today. See ya.